All right, guys. This is something that's going to be interesting. A couple of you guys sent this in the Discord. Ethan apparently talks to Jesse Lee Peterson. That I'm looking forward to it. Jesse Lee Peterson's a wild guy. That's all I can really say. He's entertaining. I'll give him that. So yeah, let's see what we got here.
Yeah.
Turn up a little bit more, Brian.
Okay, that should do it better now.
Hello,
Jesse.
cover the Bevo stuff.
Yes, sir.
There we go. That's much.
What Bevo drama is there to cover? Like, he faked cheating on his girlfriend, and then that's it. Like, he faked being homeless for once, and faked cheating on his girlfriend, and he swallows food poorly. Like, you know.
Better.
Oh,
we can hear you now.
Good. So how we doing? Are you live? Are you doing your show right now? Or are you just calling into ours?
No, I'm just on yours.
Yeah.
My show is in the mornings.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're live.
you know, just like a typical old man, you know, doing those morning shows, baby.
So
Okay.
It's what it is. But you're a radio man. You know about live broadcasts.
Are we on right now?
Yes, we are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So thanks for calling. I've been a somewhat, you might say, a fan.
You know, I saw that. Who was it? Tom Segura had Jesse Lee Peterson on. I saw it on TikTok maybe a month ago, and because I can't see Ethan actually being a fan of Jesse Lee Peterson, considering how, like, ironically, like he seems to not like black people. Jesse Lee Peterson, I mean, if you ever heard him talk, he's wild. So it's hard for me to believe Ethan's actually a fan. What it's more likely to me is that, like, Ethan feels comfortable talking to Jesse Lee and wants to talk to him because Tom Segura did it. You know what I mean? That's not me. That's not meant to be a negative, I guess. I'm just saying that's what it seems like to me more than anything else.
I love the way you interview people, although I'll be upfront with you. I'm a lib. You might call me a beta male.
Well, babe,
Yeah. Right. So
how is Moses doing?
are you, that's like,
You asked him how Moses is doing, like Trisha and Moses.
I don't know which way to take that.
Wow.
You mean like Moses the prophet or like Moses my brother-in-law?
Moses, your brother-in-law.
How do you know Moses? Why would you even ask that?
Everybody know Moses.
What?
Even God knows Moses.
Wait, why did you ask me
I don't
that?
know what I'm doing.
Because I just wonder how you're doing. I haven't seen him in a minute.
Wait, stop. Why did you ask me how's Moses?
Because I haven't seen him in a minute, so I just wonder how he was doing.
So you've seen Moses.
Does he watch the show or something, or has he watched? Maybe he was a big Frenemies fan.
Oh, yeah. Everybody know Moses.
So you're talking about the prophet?
No, I'm talking about your brother-in-law.
Okay.
No, not the prophet, the water. Okay,
You've already got me all twisted up.
everything is water.
This is what I'm saying. You've got this interview skills that you've already got me discarded.
That's funny. That's very funny though.
And
All right,
why
Jesse.
is that?
What?
Why you just got about asking how he was doing?
You don't know my brother-in-law.
Well, how would I know to ask about him then?
But then,
That's a good point.
how do you know him?
He got married, right?
Oh, stop it.
I know what's going on.
Who did he get married to?
Some crazy woman.
Jesus, this is funny.
I was surprised that Moses married a crazy woman because
I'm not surprised Moses married a crazy woman. Moses seems like the type to marry a crazy woman. I mean, because crazy women, there's something about being a kind of a fuck boy and marrying a crazy woman. Because, and listen, I'll be honest. You know, I was a fuck boy back in the day. I know you guys are like, oh well, you're fat. Okay, so you know. It's not hard for me to get love, dude. I don't know what to tell you. And I met my wife, and she's obviously very intelligent and very beautiful, but she's fucking crazy. And there's like something about like the threat of her killing me mixed with like the 18 different personas that she takes on, you know, that's like, oh yeah, like this is, you know, it keeps you in line. It keeps you away from engaging in any debauchery, we'll say. So there's just something beautiful about it, man.
he seemed to have more common sense than that.
So I don't know what's happening. I don't know if there's a producer that knows all this stuff that's feeding you lines. How did you meet Moses?
He came to my office.
To do what?
No way.
I can't tell you all that.
Oh my God. Okay.
He was here for a meeting.
Okay. All right.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing.
It's definitely amazing.
So Jesse, let's just get into it because I understand you only have an hour. You have a show called The Fallen State, correct?
Right.
So what is the fallen state? What does that mean?
The Father State is really a show of different conversations. And what I realized is that human beings are in a fallen state, and they live in their imagination, which is hell, and that their nature is evil. And that's why they treat each other, though we're all created in God's image, they treat each other, I don't anymore, but if they treat each other like hell, like the lack of love, because they're living in the darkness of their imagination. They're in a fallen state and don't know it.
If you says that we're created in God's image,
right?
It seems that you're maybe a little insulting to God, because you just said that his image is his imagination is hell.
I guess that tracks.
Not living, they have been turned away from the Father, so they
right. They're creating God's image, and then the devil has gotten he's gotten in there.
And not living from His image. That's why we must be born again. We must return to the Father.
But do they
who are born of the woman is living in hell because they have anger. They have their mother's nature, and so their nature is evil. But when they return
Gotcha. Women are evil. I agree with that.
To the Father, then their nature returned to good.
I see.
Wow.
So women's nature is evil.
Yes, because Satan is the woman's god.
Satan is woman's god. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't know any of this. I didn't learn any of this in my religion classes.
The God above is the man's god, and the God below is the woman's god. That's why all who are born.
That's why my wife's always praying when I go down below. Holy shit!
Through the woman born into hell.
Are you for real?
I'm sorry.
Of course he's for real, Ethan. What the fuck are you talking about?
Do you believe that for real?
He's the red pill OG Godfather, dude. What are you talking about?
Without a doubt, how do you think you became angry?
I'm not angry.
You don't have anger?
It's so funny because I feel like men by like default are angry, and then women like round men out. That's at least been my experience, you know. Not that women don't get angry, but men tend to express their emotions in like angry outbursts. So I'm
an alpha male.
You don't have anger?
I get angry sometimes. Does that mean that my mom is the devil?
I'm sorry?
It seems kind of reductive to say, "Oh, you've been angry," which is a common human emotion. Everybody's felt it.
You're really trying to debate Jesse Lee Peterson? Like, he's never going to change. He doesn't care. He's just he's like a goblin. He's like a short stack goblin, dude.
One time or another, anyone who's lived and to say that it's because your mother is a Satanist or something like that.
And you're right. Every human being are born into hell, and that's why we must be born again of the Father. You know, God said there will come a day when I return the children to the fathers and the fathers to the children. Every human being must be born of the Father in order to have perfect peace, in order to live on this earth in perfect peace.
Can a woman live a righteous life if their God is the devil? Do they have a shot? They can. So what do they need to do to live a righteous life?
They too have to do.
They got to worship a man, baby. That's all they got to do.
As a man have to do, they have to forgive their mothers for imposing her will on them and turning them away from their fathers and recreating them in her image. And
that's what you are, ladies. Are you hearing what he's saying? Listen to your daddies, okay? Just listen to your daddies.
Once they forgive their mother, don't ask for forgiveness, but forgive her for what she's done. She could not help it.
What if your mom didn't do anything wrong?
Once they forgive their mothers, then they forgive their fathers for not protecting them from the mother. He can handle her because he married to his mama. You become
what if your mom didn't do anything wrong? What if you have a nice mom who's great?
You're born into sin, dude. You're born into sin, bro. What are you talking about?
And she didn't do anything.
That doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Marcus Mellett super chatted $4.80.
You're born into sin.
Swedish krona from Marcus Mellett.
Oh,
do you think Jesse Lee Peterson is some sort of space alien? Or maybe he's an imp?
You know, he might be. I was thinking more along the lines of a short stack goblin, personally. But he might be some kind of a space alien. Yeah, man. I wouldn't doubt it.
No.
Okay, good. So what are the sins of the mother? What are they?
Is anger, jealousy, envy, strife.
But you feel all that.
I'm sorry?
But you feel all those emotions. That's not a feminine emotion.
Well, it might be a feminine emotion. It doesn't mean that it's we might categorize some of these things as feminine as in emotions. It doesn't mean that they're like female exclusive though, sure.
No, it's a mother's emotion. It is a feminine emotion because Satan is a feminine spirit.
But you feel anger, right?
Damn.
No, I never feel anger.
You've never felt...
Femininity is a beautiful thing, guys.
Anger.
I just said I never have felt it. I did 30-something years ago. But when I forgave my mother who resented my father and tried to turn me away from it, God forgave me.
Oh, it sounds like you have some hang-ups, brother, in your own personal life that has nothing to do with the rest of us, man.
And he took that spirit away. So I don't feel anger anymore.
I'm getting stuck.
Well, I'm very happy for you. But my mom, and how dare you speak about my mother like that, Jesse? I'll have you know she's a great lady.
No such thing.
Oh, okay.
Man, you really hate your mom, don't you?
No, I love my mother now, but all children hate their mothers, and that
I don't know, man. I didn't hate my mother. That sounds a little weird.
That's crazy because the famous psychological analysis by the great Sigmund Freud says the opposite. Kids want to fuck their mothers. What are your thoughts on that?
They do, because you do want to F the person you hate.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Wow, that's some pretty sound logic on that one, man. Not bad. Not too bad. Okay.
Oh, you become attracted to the person that you hate.
Are you attracted to your mother? Were you?
No, I don't hate my mother anymore.
Oh, okay. When you hated her, were you attracted to her?
If
This
you
is so
notice in
weird.
your life,
It's so weird because it sounds like he's it sounds like he's referencing like elementary school bullying, like, oh, you bully the girl you like kind of thing, like boys will tease and bully the girl that they like. It's so weird.
every woman you get involved with, just like your mother, you can handle her because you never overcame your mother.
When you were
so you're still attracted to that same spirit.
When you were angry at
What
your
the
mom,
fuck?
were you sexually attracted to her?
Not her, but women like her. It was the same
okay.
spirit.
I mean, like, yeah, okay. So the way that they're saying this is so bizarre. I don't think it's a hot take to say that, generally speaking, guys want to find a woman that's like their mom, and girls want to find a guy that's like their dad. Somewhat, if they have a good relationship with their parents. That doesn't mean that, like, I want to fuck my mom, but like there are some similar qualities that my wife has to my mom. Like, it's a woman's responsibility to raise their son, teach them how to be treated, and it's a man's responsibility when they raise their daughter to teach her how to be treated by men, right? So, but like, wanting to fuck your mom is wild, brother. Like, that's crazy. That's wild, brother.
Okay. Let's go back to the top here, because we could go down this rabbit hole forever. So let me ask you about, are you married?
No,
Do you have
He's not married. I thought he was.
children?
I do.
Okay.
I have a son.
Beta. Only one son?
I made a son first.
Oh, okay.
You only have
Beta
one
males
son.
Make,
But
beta
you're-
males make girls first. Alpha males make boys first.
Hold
Oh, gotcha. I knew that.
on, Jesse. You're telling me you had a child out of wedlock? Beta.
That's true. Then I was in a fallen state. You're absolutely
okay.
right. But then I have 2 grandkids, adult
Okay.
grandkids now, and then 2 great grandkids.
I wonder what his relationship is like with his grandkids.
The one on the way.
Why were you never married, Jesse? That seems like a great, frankly, in your line of work and with your values, it seems like that would be a real
Yeah, it seems kind of abnormal.
shortcoming of yours that you're single still.
And why is that?
Well, you're in like the religious sphere.
Well, don't you live for family values, good Christian family values?
You can live for them without having to be married. Jesus never married. God wasn't married. Paul wasn't married.
Yeah.
But yet they stood for those values.
God should have got married to Mary before he fucking stooped her, you know what I mean? Seemed kind of inappropriate. I don't even think he asked. Let's be real. I don't think he said, Mary, can I get in that fat pussy of yours? He just kind of went in there one day. It's kind of fucked up if you think about it. Reminds me of that scene of Revenge of the Nerds. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. So then, well, let me put it this way. I have 3 boys
Wow.
and I'm married.
I thought he had 2. Whatever. I guess I'm not keeping enough track of it.
Nice.
I'm alpha as fuck.
All the way.
Right. Okay, good. I wanted to get that
Very
out
nice.
there. But I couldn't sit here with you calling
Got to get that validation from Jesse Peterson.
me beta. I would crumble. I couldn't deal with it.
Damn, he called Destiny beta. It was kind of a funny conversation.
You've said, but I hope you're not offended when I do say you are kind of beta.
No, I'm not offended by that at all.
Okay, good.
Why? Because you feel like you're beta and you know it, or because you don't value him because he's actually not an alpha. Ethan's not the alpha.
Because you are.
Thank you.
Oh, good. You have said previously that you are afraid of affirmative action policies. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not trying to be that guy because let's acknowledge a couple things. Systemic racism, very real, especially historical systemic racism, very real thing. Black people, well, really non-white people have been denied opportunities, absolutely historically. But I kind of feel like nowadays we're just doing it the wrong way, dealing with it. I feel like invest more money into black communities so that they get better education and have more job opportunities. But instead, it kind of sometimes feels like you're trying to shove people into roles that they're not necessarily ready for. And the biggest thing that's kind of pissing me off is like how it's manifesting. I know it sounds so silly, but I see that whole Google AI thing where like they're weirdly discriminating against white people. People are doing, I don't know, unless it's all fake. But apparently there's all these searches of like, oh, show me medieval knights. And like none of them are white. It's like weird. It's like they don't show historically accurate stuff. It's been apparently shown that they're excluding, like they're trying to force diversity into every AI Google search from, I think it was Google. It's like weird. Things are manifesting in a weird way. I feel like we've gone from having like an intelligent conversation about like the systemic practices we've engaged in, and we've gone to a point where we're just being obnoxious, you know? Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, we're focusing on race too much. The only time I really want to the only time I want to focus on race is when I'm looking up BBW ebony porn. You know? That's the only time I care. It's just so weird, man. It's making me focus too much on race. Like, I've never before now have like focused on race, and it went from a good thing to like educating myself on systemic racism to like kind of a bad thing, because it's just frustrating now. It's just like, okay, like let's like if we had a policy that's like, hey, we want to put more money into black communities, I'd be like, oh, I'll vote for that. But now, like, if we have a policy like in New York, they're getting rid of or they're trying to potentially get rid of the social workers licensing exams because they're so expensive, and they notice a disparity where like from a proportionality perspective, less black and Hispanic people are passing. And it's like, okay, so they want to get rid of the test. Why don't you just make the test free? You know what I mean? Like, it's like you're so worried about not enough black and Hispanic people. Why don't you invest into more money for black and Hispanic school systems? Or why don't you make the test free so that when they fail, they don't have to pay $300 a test? Or why don't you just encourage them to get a different job? They have a master's degree in social work. They don't need to get the license necessarily. But if they fail a test 10 times, because they're saying some people spend $2,000 and they continue to fail, maybe this is not the job for them. I don't know. It just kind of feels like some of the ways we go about things are just frustrating,
Well, affirmative action is set up in order to keep the blacks weak and dependent on government and not ever growing and becoming their best in their talent and what they can do.
I wonder why.
And so what it does, it discriminates against the ones who earn their way, and it gives it to those who do not earn their way.
I would say that if anything, affirmative action probably. There's an interesting thing from like Thomas Sowell that I remember engaging in, and he said that affirmative action was good if you're a black person with opportunity, and it's bad if you're a black person without opportunity. And I don't know if I agree with this, but I'm still going to say it. His argument said, well, actually, he said it was kind of bad if you had an opportunity because you might be placed into a sphere that you're not ready for. Like, let's say they need a quota to get into like Harvard, so they put like some black students into Harvard, and they're really intelligent students that would do phenomenally at a school that was like slightly worse, but then they struggle because they were kind of like pulled into Harvard. That is an interesting concept. I don't know how much I believe it. And then the opposite was that affirmative action decentivizes hiring black people in lower skilled labor jobs because because if you fire a white guy, they can't claim racism. But if you fire a black guy, they can claim racism. So I don't know if I agree with those things. They're
Blossoms
interesting.
Super chatted $5. $5 from Blossoms. It's telling that the only black person Ethan has ever had on is objectively the dumbest one who also doesn't like black people.
That's an interesting point, by the way. Again, I just feel like, why not focus on opportunity? Like, let's get some money into these black communities instead of trying to force them, like, into. I understand affirmative action's existence because, like, black people have been discriminated against historically, like not even getting jobs even when they're qualified. But I feel like we should be putting the lion's share of the effort into funding, like, better schools, not just schools, by the way. Like, I would almost say fuck the schools. I would say funding better, like, economic job growth in these areas. Like, you don't necessarily need to go to school. You just need to have a fucking job. School can be great. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like, let's get some money in these poor fucking areas, And
it's just not right. It's evil. It's wrong for the person that they're giving it to who are not earning their way. And it's also wrong against the people who are earning their way. It's just not, it's an evil plan. And it's not working at all. It's causing nothing but confusion.
And so what crucial occupations do you think is being overrun with affirmative action types of people that's harming the industry?
Well, nowadays it's everything, really. We just heard a report that I talked about on my show. They're hiring air traffic controllers and pilots and things like that, and these people are not qualified, and they are getting rid of the white people who are qualified and they're putting the unqualified people there.
I don't know if that's true. I think I know what he's referring to. They're trying to like have a push for less white air traffic controllers or something. But I mean, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's quite that everybody's like, I don't know what.
And you see it in the military. They're even talking now about doing it in the medical field. They're giving these people these positions without earning their way. Not only is it not good for the individuals themselves, but it's not good for the country.
How can I, as somebody who's trying to identify affirmative action where things are vulnerable, how do I identify an affirmative action person who's in a spot that they shouldn't be?
Well, you can see, you can question them about did they earn their way, but you can see in
Well, I mean, they would probably say yes, no?
the way that they operate, they do not operate at their best.
Okay.
Are you an affirmative action radio host?
I'm not.
How do I know?
That's the problem with it. And you're right about that. You make a good point, because now that the blacks are getting affirmative action and reparation and all that for so many years, you do have black men and women who are earning their way. But how would you know, since you know affirmative action is set up for the blacks?
It's just
it's like Justice Clarence Thomas, for example. He earned his way. He worked hard. He came from a tough background. But because he's black, it's hard for anyone to accept that he's earned his way because he's black. So everybody just assumed that that the blacks are not earning their way. They're part of the affirmative action program.
So it's possible.
So it really does a bad job for all the blacks, to be honest.
What about like white Nepo babies who are born into tremendous wealth and privilege, and they can pretty much skate into any field, any kind of job that they want because maybe their parents have leverage and they know people and all this?
Yeah. I mean, that's a great point, I think. I think that there is something to consider when it comes to any Nepo baby, white, black, Hispanic, whatever. Is that, like, at the end of the day, whether you want to hear it or not, they're entitled assholes, but they're probably more qualified for the jobs that they get, generally speaking, because they had access to better schooling, et cetera, et cetera. So
isn't that, in a sense, as dangerous as affirmative action, or perhaps even more?
Did you say white? What kind of babies?
Nepotism.
And, like, you know, let's say you're at a company and one of your top guys has a kid and they're like, oh, I want my kid to work here. You're probably going to want to hire that kid because if his dad's doing well, chances are he's probably going to do better than some random hire. You know?
Nepotism babies.
What's that?
Nepotism is when you get favored treatment because of a family member.
There's nothing wrong with that. That always happens in society.
But don't you think that putting out... But if they're not qualified...
Well, if they're not qualified, it's bad. But I mean, generally speaking, I would argue that Nepo babies aren't necessarily unqualified just because they're Nepo babies. They have it life easier. But they, you know, like if you have a really good worker and they're like, I want my son to work there, chances are he's going to be a good worker too. You know what I mean? You want to put that investment into there. You don't want a high turnover rate. You want decent people. So
happens in the black society. You have family members who know someone that knows someone.
Ethan like hires nepotism hires. Isn't like half of like are there like two people on the staff like the girlfriend of somebody else? And didn't Olivia like have her grandmother like harass them until they hired her? Like I don't. It's kind of silly, you know.
It's common sense that they're going to refer you.
Right, but if you're at like Harvard Law, you're going to get fast tracked into one of these big law firms. And maybe you're not good. Maybe you're not even good at school. Maybe
but you probably are going to be.
Father just bought like a wing at the Harvard University. And so I don't want that guy as my attorney. Do you?
I mean, I'm not against personal.
I could say the same for her. From action. What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Girls.
Right.
I don't agree with affirmative action based on color.
So what about affirmative action for Native Americans?
For the Indians?
Yeah. Okay. Those are the ones.
What does that mean?
That is, affirmative action shouldn't be for anyone. The Indians need to put down the pot. And they call it payota or something, right?
Oh,
they need to put down a payota and get up and earn for themselves. The beauty about life, if you are an individual, you think and do for yourself.
I think it's one of the unfortunate parts when it comes to like indigenous people is that they tend to live very segregated. And part of that is like they want to, you know, on like reservations and stuff. And the education system there just isn't really up to par with our education system. It just makes things like rough. You know, the same thing happens with like secular Jews in New York. That's why there's like an institution. I had a buddy who worked for them that helped people try to like get out of the secular. Am I saying, is it secular, non-secular? I think Orthodox, not secular. Excuse me. I'm dumb as fuck. I'm fucking stupid. Sorry, the Orthodox Jew community in New York, they don't have the same education standards either. So it reduces your opportunities. It makes it like rough.
There's no one or nothing in life that can stop you. And America, when I was growing up, was that way. And now it has been, individuality has been deemed to be something bad. And there's this group thinking now. And so the group is always in a pitiful, I can't make it, needed mode. That's why I believe.
I like affirmative action based on socioeconomic status. If somebody was born in a poor area and couldn't have extra curriculum but did well, they should have a chance. Yeah, I agree with that. I just feel like we were better off focusing more on the opportunities from the start. That's what I'm more interested in. I feel like we're missing the mark on that one. You know what I mean? We should focus a little bit more in that area.
That we must be returned to being individuals, one nation under God.
But Jesse, you participate in groupthink.
What do you mean?
Well, you're part.
Hey, thank you so much, Linda, for the 12-month small gut. I appreciate that.
Part of a movement, the manosphere, right? This conservative online movement about teaching young men that everything is not their fault. It's the world's fault that they're, not.
Yeah, I agree. Red Pill mostly seems to be just promoting a victim complex for young men. It's not exactly healthy for them. Anything that focuses more on breaking down another group rather than building one group is not an advocacy group. Is dog shit.
Not successful, or that they're gay because they hate their mom or whatever.
I'm not part of any movement.
Well, why do I hear so many people saying that kind of stuff?
I don't know. I started Bond 34 years ago, and I didn't know anyone at the time, but I started because I realized, and at that time I realized that the blacks were suffering because they had been turned away from their fathers, and excuse me.
Well, I don't know if anybody turned away from their fathers. I think the father probably turns away from them. No, like just in general, they will have. Like, I don't have a father. He turned away from me. I didn't turn away from him. Okay, that's
Democrats and others were telling it. Also, the so-called civil rights leaders were telling the blacks that they were suffering because of racism, and I knew that was a lie. So I started BARM, my nonprofit, Rebuilding the Man, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny.
Even during Jim Crow, that racism was a lie.
Let me just finish this.
Go ahead.
To encourage blacks to not fall for the lie that some white man can hold them back, right? And so I started BARM 35 years ago. And I was, and still am not a part of any movement, but just to encourage the men and women to return back to the Father.
Okay.
So
what were you saying about Jim Crow?
You're saying even back then there was no such thing as racism?
Right. No,
even Jim Crow.
Right.
That's not racist to say that black people need to drink from a different fountain.
No.
Wow, incredible. What a guy.
As a matter of fact,
what a guy.
I grew up, as you know, under the Jim Crow laws. And blacks and whites got along better back then than they do today, because back then.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's true. I think that part of the problem is when you're a kid, everything seems so much easier. Everything seems so innocent, Like I remember when, I'll give you a great example. This is the best example I can give you. 9/11. I was 11 years old, and that was a horrible day where thousands of Americans died in a tragedy. But I got to go home from school early, so that day was kind of good for me. I'm not to be an asshole. So when you're a kid, everything seems like fucking butterflies, lollipops, and shit stains. But when you get older, all of a sudden it's like, oh, it kind of hits you. And especially now where we have social media kind of like blasting into your face over and over again, it makes it seem like things are so much worse than they really are, because you're seeing like the worst of everything going on, The
KKK like hanging. I mean, sorry to be uncouth, but I'm pretty sure the KKK was like killing black people, but then.
Why?
They were just like, right? Like, I mean, they were just doing that. I don't know.
No, that's
lynchings.
Not true.
There was lynchings and stuff happening back then. You don't see those
That's
today.
true. That's not true.
Oh,
what?
So what's the truth about the KKK?
The first, let me tell you.
Oh my God. What is happening? What do you mean the truth about the K? This is insane.
About the Jim Crow.
Okay.
During those days, the blacks worked for themselves. They had family. They had fathers and mothers and grandparents. And they worked for themselves, and they taught their children to work. And they taught their children to treat people the way that they would like to be treated. And then the wife did the same thing. they too taught their children to work and be.
I've heard some older black people talk about how back then the family unit in black communities was stronger, and that they felt like the welfare system, the way that it was set up, ended up like tearing apart the black family. And that makes sense to me, because our welfare system, I mean, we need a welfare system, but I think our welfare system excels in areas where there's a lot of economic opportunity, if that makes any sense. So if you live in an area that has jobs and has resources, etc., and you go on welfare, you're just on welfare for maybe a few months or a year until you get off, and there's no problem. But I would say that if you're in a very poor area where there's no opportunity, well, I mean, you're just going to sit on welfare and ride welfare, because it makes the most sense. I mean, you can make enough money. It can be difficult to even get a job, and then, you might get off your welfare. It could be hard to get back on it if you need it. You might even make more money on your welfare. So it's like one of those things where I feel like the system is good overall, but not good if you live in like a weak economic area, weak economic state or town or whatever. So, that does make sense to me. But that's just an issue with having to figure out our welfare state in a better way,
Independent and to treat people the way they would like to be treated. And as a result, the blacks bought land. They had trades. They bought, if they wanted to go to a trade school or college, they went and did that. And they came back as professionals.
Wow.
And they didn't have false leaders. Someone leaded them. God was the head of the family, and the father was the head of the wife and the children. And so it wasn't until the civil rights movement came along. No such thing as civil rights, by the way, but when the civil rights movement started, it started.
But Jesse, if Jim Crow happened, if that was still in place, you wouldn't be talking to me now.
You don't know that. Why would I?
Because
I mean, I imagine that might be true. Why is this not playing? This fucking donation. I'm gonna give it another minute.
Everything was segregated. As a white man, probably. I'm not. You know what? I was one of the good ones. I would have never gone there. But however, there'd be people saying, "No, don't talk to a white man."
That's not true.
No,
because even under the Jim Crow law, black and white people talk to one another. If they wanted to talk, they got along. Those who want.
I mean, this is argument like, they could talk if they wanted to, and slowly social things would change and people would start talking. I don't know. That's interesting.
To get along. So but you have to realize you have evil people, and there are some people who return to good.
Let me hit you with the stat. Between 1882 and 1986, now you were born in 1949, so you were probably in your 20s, somewhere in this time frame at the end of it. There was 4,743 lynchings that occurred in the United States during that time period. Is that racist?
I don't even know if that number is true, because you have to realize that the human heart is wicked, and that
it's all conspiracy. It's all conspiracy, guys. That's what he's saying.
People make up numbers in order to get what they want.
Why won't you admit that hanging black people is racist?
I'm sorry?
Why won't you admit that hanging black people is racist?
I think that Jesse Lee Peterson has gone too far down the rabbit hole of like conspiracy to really engage in this conversation.
Oh, because it's not. If that was happening, it was evil. Our battle is a battle between.
No, they were like, the kick.
I don't think that like talking to Jesse Lee Peterson helps.
Koffel super chatty $2. $2 from Koffel. Leviathans are short stack.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it helps to talk to somebody like Jesse Lee Peterson, because you're never going to get through to him, and he's never going to fold. He's going to be unrelenting, and so every normal person already agrees with Ethan. But then, like some of the crazies, they might almost get psyoped by this guy. Like it just kind of sits with you. He says some wild shit. All of a sudden you're like, maybe numbers are fake. Thank you so much for the $10, Pasta Muncher 42. There are too many lames trying to outflex me. However, I am a kind god. The ops are on a 3-strike system. Keep my name out your mouth. I'm like settle juice. Just like when you joined Destiny's Call. Haha. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, it's like we hate black people, and so we're gonna hang them. They say that. They actually said that. They're like, this is, and so that's not racist.
But what if they didn't? That's Jesse Lee Peterson's argument. Is all it's going to be. I feel like this wasn't productive. But what if that's not true?
No, it's hatred. It's either good or evil.
Does racism exist? Is racism real?
You asking me a lot of questions. Calm down.
Whoa.
You're not letting me answer.
Hold on.
You're not letting me answer the ones you're asking.
This
you're
is how you
asking, and before I can answer, you run to something else.
Go ahead.
And so
I'll give you space.
we're not finalizing any conversation. What the?
What? Amazing. Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow, incredible. I feel like this is so weird. I really do think that the only reason that this guy's on here is because Ethan saw Tom Segura do it and wanted to join the trend.
I'm sorry, Jesse. Go ahead. I'm trying to interview like you interview.
I mean, you'll disavow Jordan Lee Peterson, but you're gonna do this. This is a little weird. Or Jordan Peterson. Did I say Jordan Lee Peterson? Is that his name? Jesse Lee Peterson? Jordan Lee Peterson? Are they the same person? I've never seen them in the room together.
Interview people.
That's not how I interview.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Maybe Ethan's just on his red pill arc or something.
I know how you interview.
No. According to Wikipedia, 1,000 plus white people were lynched. Was that racist?
Yeah, I guess so. Wait, were white people lynched? Guess I never heard about that. Okay.
It could have been.
Sure, maybe it might have been. It depends on why. I mean, were they lynched because they were like helping black people? Oh, it seems to be majority black though. Okay, yeah, it seems okay. Seems like it's mostly black people were lynched. Based on this statistic, there's a lot of the blacker line is the black people. Just so you know. So it seems like I don't know why they were lynched. Okay. Yeah, it seemed like maybe they just like lynching people back then as like a form of punishment. So probably the black ones were mostly probably racially motivated. The white ones were probably not. But hey, what do I know?
It depending on the situation.
No. Racism is a made-up word. The word racist is a made-up word to cover up evil, and in order to divide and conquer. When I was growing up in Alabama, there was no such word as racism. It was either right or wrong, good or evil. There's no such thing as racism.
So okay,
I'm learning so much today.
Okay, so racism just means evil. But that seems reductive. I mean, there's different types of evil.
No, racism doesn't mean evil. Racism is just a word. It has no meaning.
Do words have any meaning?
No.
No words.
Oh, he's getting fucking woke now. He's talking about social constructs and the meaning of different words based on what society deems them to mean.
Don't mean anything.
Not at all.
Oh man, how are we gonna pin you down on anything? What are you doing then? What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
Well, your words don't have meaning.
Right.
Well, how can you say that?
Because it's true. I mean,
but you're talking to me.
Practical words have meaning. Practical words have meaning because, you know, what you're going to have for dinner. Your wife might ask you, what do you want for dinner, or what type of house you want to buy? But those are practical words. We don't live by those words. And those other words are only used to keep people down in order to control them for personal gain.
But that doesn't mean they don't exist.
God's voice is a voiceless voice.
Okay.
And
wow, that was a lot of information.
And the voice of evil is a voice that you hear in your head that sounds like you, and they always lies all the time. All thoughts are all, except for practical ones, all thoughts are all lies all the time.
All
okay.
Thoughts are all lies?
All the time.
Wow.
Jeez, man.
This probably makes a lot of sense to some people. Not to me, but there must be just some kind of life experience that you go through where hearing Jesse talk, it just clicks for you, you know? Like it's like an epiphany moment 24/7 or something. Because I don't understand though.
That sounds like you're in a prison. You're in a hell of your own making, man.
Except for practical thought. And you're right. People who live in their thoughts.
But everybody thinks.
Those who believe thoughts are living in hell, in their own hell within themselves.
Very interesting.
Just think about a thought that there are people who have committed suicide because a thought told them to commit suicide.
Okay.
There are people.
Yes and no. No, I mean, I think it's more than just a thought. I think it's probably really a series of feelings that impact you there. But,
people who are depressed and have fear and lonely and all these things because they have believed thoughts, not because it's real, but they have believed a lie. They believe thoughts.
Let's move on to another topic. Why do you call Trump the Great White Hope?
Oh my God.
The Great White Hope. I'm glad you mentioned him.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what he has to say.
He's back.
He's back.
Basically, all I've done is keep my promise.
That's why I call him the Great White Hope.
Okay.
Is there a whole bunch of sounds, or is that the only one?
There are a whole bunch of them.
Let me hear some more.
friends in the morning. They're very honorable people.
Wow.
Incredible.
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
So
I rest my case.
yeah, okay.
ISIS has
So
spread
do you
like
love
cancer.
white
This is
people
Trump.
more? Do you love white
This
people?
is Trump right here.
Yeah.
You took this guy on here, plays with action figures, Ethan. This is you asked for this. It really is interesting though that the only black guy I've ever seen on Ethan's shit was like a fucking racist black guy. Why don't you take some goddamn normal black people on and talk about shit that's not about black people? You know, and just make some normal guy. It's just fucking black creator or something.
We love Trump. He's the
Yeah.
but why point out his skin color?
Like I know he would be like, well, no, I'm trying to push him on like some of the stuff that he says that's wrong, and I can appreciate that. But Jesse Lee Peterson is not the kind of person that you have a debate with. Like you're never gonna get through to him. He's funny, but he's so dumb. None of his audience values him for any intelligent thing he says. He's effectively like a conspiracy theorist that hates black people and loves white people. He's kind of a pick-me if you really want to put it into that perspective. And so you're never gonna de-radicalize his audience or him. You're never gonna get through to him. You're not gonna change anything about him. I wouldn't even doubt he believes what he's saying. So it's like, it's really not very productive to talk to him. Like there's nothing that, there's no good reason to have Jesse on. Like, if you think he's funny or whatever, that's fine. But, you've kind of jumped into some of the social political stuff. So you're not doing anything. You're really just you're not communicating anything to anybody. It's not productive. You should not have conversations with people who cannot have like productive conversation.
What do you mean?
Well, you call him the Great White Hope. Why do you reference his skin color?
Is he white?
By the way, if you think you can out MAGA me, think again, buddy. All right? I my own tools.
Amazing.
Amazing, baby.
I have one of those, by the way.
Oh, you do? Put it on.
I don't have it in the studio.
Why do like half my alerts, like donations, are just not working? Stream Element's really pissing me off right now.
And that's convenient, Jesse.
I didn't know you were gonna want me to put it on. But let me see what else I have. Hold on, because a lot of people give me a lot of Trump stuff.
But Jesse, why do you refer to him as? Wow. Is it just?
Thank you so much here for the memes for the $5 donation. Earned a sub. Just found your channel in the past few days. I truly enjoy your commentary. Keep up the good work. What's your opinion on Destiny? Oh, I appreciate that. Destiny's alright. He's cool. He's a smart guy. I like him. I don't like the slur stuff too much. I don't like going that edgy. But outside that, he's a very intelligent guy. That's pretty much it.
Jesse, is it normal to be?
And also, he's a black woman stripper. So that's the name.
Yep. Jesse, let me ask you a question. You might ask one of your guests.
Look at this.
I have a pertinent question that you might ask one of your guests.
Did you see that?
I do. Do you think that it's normal to fetishize another man that much? Oh my God, you do have it.
Wow. Look at that.
All right, Jesse. Well, then let me do this. Do you have one of these, motherfucker? This one's even bigger.
I don't think that they had him on to have any type of serious debate. It was just for goofs and a dunk on him. Yeah, no, I understand that. Like, I do get that. I think that the problem is that, when Tom Segura does it, you don't expect anything of intelligence from Tom Segura. He just is obnoxious, like kind of like a shitty bully. That's not particularly funny, at least not anymore. Not that Ethan's super funny, but Ethan has pushed into the realm of politics, and he had an entire podcast, the Leftovers podcast, and so now he has a little bit of a different audience and a little bit of a different air to him. You're going to treat somebody differently based on the audience that they're going to gather. So you have a different expectation of him. So when he is engaging in political discussion, that he's a little bit more responsible about it. Even though it was political drama, even the whole Vosh thing. I mean, you decided to step into like the politics sphere. So I put a different expectation onto Ethan a little bit. And so I think it's reasonable. I'm not saying, oh my God, cancel Ethan, he should go, die or anything. All I'm saying is it's irresponsible because you're never going to have a productive debate, and he's just going to say a bunch of conspiracy theory, like racist shit. That's the point that I'm making. So it's like, bring on like a different black person. I know it sounds so silly, but I don't know. It just seems, I don't know. It doesn't seem like the right move. It's just weird to me. I've never really seen him talk to any black creators. I mean, Terry Joe for sure. but very rarely talking to black creators. I can see why black people don't like him. Like, why not have Abin Preach on to talk? When you're trying to extend this bridge, and then you pull Jesse on. I don't think that Ethan's racist, but I think that I understand why some black people think he's racist.
Oh shit, you actually do.
I have a black Santa Claus that someone sent me.
Do you believe Santa Claus is black?
Do you find it amazing that they finally did a black Santa and they put him in a wheelchair?
Yeah, I liked Black Santa. I thought it was pretty cool.
It is amazing, actually. What's his story?
Is they knew that he wasn't going to do any work.
Why are they laughing so much? Not even that funny. I don't really understand it.
So they just put him in the wheelchair?
Yeah, because they knew he wasn't going to do any work. It's affirmative action Santa.
Okay.
Oh, Jesse.
Okay.
Jesse, why do you refer to Trump's skin color?
I mean, what's interesting is that, like, we talk about this, we talk about it every once in a while. Jokes are fun. Edgy jokes are fun. Sometimes you make stuff for shock value. Sometimes you recall an experience. Jesse doesn't like black people. So when he says that talks about this affirmative action Santa, he's very clearly like, he means it. There's an undertone there of like actually not liking black people. So it's like, I don't know. You think you'd want to, I don't know. I think that like optically, this is a rough one for Ethan. It would have been different if he went on to Jesse's show, I guess. But this is I don't think that it looks particularly good here. It's a little weird.
Why does that matter?
Because he's a white man. He did when he was president an amazing job.
Okay.
That's debatable, but okay.
America, he gave a lot of people hope.
He drastically increased the annual federal deficit by giving short-term tax cuts to fucking to like middle class people that already ended, and permanent tax cuts to people at the top, which fucking increased our annual federal deficit by like $400 billion a year before COVID. So, dude, I don't know why my stuff is not working today. Streamlabs is dog shit today. Thank you so much for the $5 from Hi, I'm Ricky. Jesse was accused of sleeping with men at his church a couple of years ago, and so that could be why he thinks thoughts are devil. He's gay. How unexpected. That makes sense to me. I feel like a lot of these guys are gay. Like Myron, he's gay. Myron, like, fresh and fit. Because they hate women so much. I think that they hate their thoughts so much, and that makes, I don't know, somehow that manifested them hating women because they like, actually, you know what I mean? They're fucking gay, so they have to hate women. You know what I mean? Like, it's just part of the flow. I feel like the most homophobic guys are gay because they're just trying to suppress their own thoughts. So,
and he's great at what he's done. He worked for the people and not against them.
You have one of these?
I don't have one of those.
He's hot. Looks good. Okay, but that doesn't explain.
I'm glad to know that you support him, though.
Why? Well, personally, I think Obama was a great president. What do you think about that?
You're playing.
No, he did a lot of great things. Talk about hope. He gave people lots of hope.
That's true. He did give people a lot of hope. I thought he was pretty good.
What did he do that was great?
The missile strikes. I'm sorry, that's terrible. No, I think Obamacare was well-intentioned. I think it was a rough execution, but I think that it was like very well-intentioned. I mean, we need some kind of healthcare system, like like public healthcare system for people that's cheaper and more streamlined, because things are absolutely out of control. I like the concept of like some form of a Medicare for all program where everybody pays into Medicare, right? And then anybody could opt into it. So based on your income. So like, let's say I pay, I don't know, $50 a week for health for Medicare for other people. And then I want to opt in based on my income. So I pay like another $50 a week. I think that's reasonable. And you might be like, that's a lot of money. That's like that's like below average nowadays. It's crazy how much money people spend on health insurance, especially since they have a little bit more bargaining power when it comes to reducing the prices of some of these things. I don't think it would be such a bad idea. I mean, there's medications that cost so much money, that have generics on them. So it's crazy. I'm on a medication called Farxiga, and there was no generic for a while, so it was $15 a pill. Not too bad. Or not a pill, excuse me, for like a month. Not too bad. Then it went up to $25. Now it's up to $40. And now there's a generic that's released. And the generic is $500 because my insurance company doesn't cover it for some reason. It's like, wow, like this is the state that I'm not on the generic, but it's like, wow, what a state that we're in here. what an amazing spot we're in here, huh? Everything's so fucked,
What do you do those? He was chill.
You can say that again.
Yeah.
He had Big Mama. And so what did he do that was great?
What did Trump do that's great?
He did drilling, brought back jobs. He built a.
I mean, he did bring back jobs. That's one of the things is that you know the writings on the wall for some jobs due to automation as well as it being because excuse me, give me a second. In 2016, some jobs like coal jobs, we're going into a different direction to be a little bit more greener, or to be more greener, or to be more green. What the hell am I saying? To be whatever. And when people are like, "Hey, what are you going to do about the jobs?" Hillary's like, "There's nothing I can really do." Trump was like, "Oh, I'm going to bring them back," and he did. I don't think it was the way he did it was necessarily good, but he did do it. That's why people liked him. That's why when you're a middle class person, especially if you're struggling financially, you're not really thinking about everybody else. You're kind of like thinking about yourself because you're struggling. And so Trump was able to appeal to people's more selfish nature, and people are going to be more selfish when they don't have as much abundance. So
wall almost completed.
No, there's no wall. Come on, Jesse. There's no wall.
He didn't complete the wall.
Well, he didn't get anywhere close to completing the wall. He also said it would only cost $5 billion when estimates were upwards of like over $100 billion. It would have destroyed ecosystems. It really wasn't a good idea. We need to do something. I will say that things seem to be going crazy. At the border. I believe in immigration, but there needs to be like a reasonable flow of people in. We're getting to a point where I'm starting to think like maybe we should just stop. We should just start turning down asylum seekers in general because it's just getting too out of control. Focus more on helping these other countries, build up their shit rather than allowing a bunch of people to come here. Instead of taking in asylum seekers, how about we give, I don't know, money to some of these countries to patrol their shit better, get the gangs out. I don't know. You could even use our military to help them out if they want. But letting a bunch of people in doesn't seem to be the most productive.
When Joe Biden became president,
he did like 1%.
Instead of completing the wall, he stopped the work.
Jesse, you're not being fair.
Even though it was paid for, so he brought back jobs. He drilled. He worked on the wall until they stopped him. He left. We had our enemies respected us around the world.
What does that mean? I don't know if that's true.
And the people worked together. We finally had some unity in the country.
Listen, you could like Trump as much as you want. He was the most divisive president in modern history. There's just no way. He was incredibly divisive. Things are very calm under Biden. You could dislike the guy, but Trump is incredibly divisive.
But he didn't build the wall, right? That's just a matter of fact.
He didn't complete the wall.
No, but he didn't even come close. He built like 1% of it.
He didn't complete the wall.
But you said that was something good he did. He made one.
That was.
Since when does 1% of something you promised a good job?
I'm sorry, he didn't complete the job because his time ran out.
But the amount of completion matters, right? The amount of completion matters.
Well, I think he had control. I think he had the Senate and he had the House when he was first elected, and he didn't really do anything. It was kind of embarrassing for him.
I'm sorry?
The amount of completion matters. You say he didn't complete it. He didn't do 100%.
Immigration, the border, it's a non-issue that Republicans play up for talking points. That's not true. Just to be clear, the border is an issue. If you live closer to the border, it's much more of an issue for you. It may not be the biggest issue, but it is still something people are frustrated about. And there still are a lot of people coming into America. And then they end up kind of taking advantage of tax systems and whatnot. And I know some of them want to work, but it's understandable why people are like, hey, we need to get this shit together. We need to figure out the border.
But if he did 1%, surely that's not as good as 50%. I wouldn't call that a good job. 1%?
But you're not making sense. If his time ran out and he wasn't...
you said he built the wall, Jesse. Come on. There's no wall.
Well, let's put it this way. If this makes you feel better. He started building a wall, putting up a wall. Time ran out.
Okay.
And he did not finish. And according to BBC, he did 654 miles. That's
out of how many?
That's more than 1%.
Let's see. What percent of the wall was completed? I don't know.
Well
458 miles. What are you typing, dude?
Well, why did you say 1% and you really don't know?
Oh, sorry. You know what? It's like 25%.
But you really don't know.
Well, now I do. It's 25%.
Someone just told you?
Yes. Somebody who fact checks.
So why did you say 1%?
Well,
he's kind of got even on that one. Yeah, why did you say 1%? I mean, my understanding is a lot of it was replacement for already pre-existing wall. But
I was wrong, clearly, but it was 25%.
But why did you say 1%?
It's 25%.
No, why did you say
25%?
1%? You're not answering the question.
Well, it's a rhetorical question, is it not?
No, why did you just throw out 1% when it wasn't true?
Why did you say Trump completed the wall? When he
I don't know. He kind of is it even 25%? That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, you probably he did catch him a little bit with that one. Like, you know, why did you say 1%? If it's 25%, I don't know what percentage it is. I'm not saying anything about the percentage, but why would you make that claim if you hadn't fact checked that? Especially if you pre-planned this question. Why wouldn't you have, you know? Why wouldn't you know? But okay.
He had only completed 25% of it.
I didn't say he completed the wall. I said he built the wall.
Okay.
And I said he did not get a chance to complete it because I ran out of time.
Well, how are you going to, if percent is a word and words are made up, then what are we even doing here?
This probably wasn't the conversation for Ethan. Just say that.
We're communicating.
But
it's like before, somebody's like, "Oh, we just had him on for laughs and goofs and gaffs." Somebody said, "You're coping hard." Like he's clearly trying to push him on some like political, you know, aspects of this thing. It's not just for laughs. You know, and he's not doing, I don't think, the best job.
Words don't mean anything.
Who cares? He was wrong and clarified. You guys are weird, man. You guys are just bizarre. It doesn't really look very good if you're debating the dumbest person in the world and he gets one over on you because you prepared a question and then you didn't even have like the basic level of knowledge on the question. Like that's why.
I got you, Jesse.
So what? Word doesn't. That's why you let them go in one ear and out the other one.
Let me move on here because we can go down this rabbit hole, and I love it. I love it. I love where your mind's at on all these issues.
Yeah, I bet.
What's the deal with being gay?
Okay. Okay.
Well, if that's what they want to be, there's nothing. Everybody entitled to stay into their hell if they wanted to.
This guy's got to be gay.
But if they want to overcome it, they can.
Okay.
They can overcome it. But if they want to stay in their hell, they can die in their hell. No big deal.
I've met very happy gay men.
Well, I think he means that when you go to hell, you'll go to hell if you're gay. So, like, whatever pleasures you engage in the real world or on Earth are going to manifest in a terrible thing when you go to hell. Obviously, I disagree. People are generally born gay. You know, I had a cousin. I fucking knew he was so gay. I was 11 years old, I think, and I told my uncle, I said, "This kid's gay." He was 4. My uncle's like, as long as he's happy, guess what? He's gay as fuck. God bless him. I love my cousin. Gay. You know, you could tell. You could just tell. These kids are probably born gay. You could fucking tell. You know, running around. Oh, I want to do theater. Gay. You know.
In fact, gay means happy if you believe in words.
But again, they may have false happiness, but they have no peace. Wow. And again,
how can you say that?
Because if you're not overcome evil, you have no peace.
Wow, beautiful.
Did you overcome being gay, Jesse?
Okay.
I never had to worry about overcoming that.
Okay. And then you say that gay is a cover-up for evil. What do you mean by that?
Okay.
Everyone that's born through their mothers have to overcome that feminine spirit. They have to overcome anger. And they're
listen, not for nothing. Again, anger is not a feminine quality. Women can be angry. Anger, if I was going to classify it, is absolutely a masculine quality. Like, you know, testosterone increases your anger. Anger is a masculine quality, man. I don't know why he keeps saying it's feminine. You can't just say the bad things that people engage in are. And by the way, anger is not necessarily bad. Anger is not inherently bad. It can be bad, right? If you don't monitor it the right way. But anger, you know, it's an emotion. It's a reaction. It's an emotion. It's a reaction. That does give you feedback on some things. I know that sounds so silly, but it is true. I don't think it's all bad, but yeah, no, it's definitely a masculine quality. Let's be real here, okay? Let's be real.
There are people that are into all kinds of things. We all have to be born again of the Father. And so what I'm saying to the people, if they were to really start working on themselves, because our battle is a spiritual battle, and if every human being adult human being took control of their own life as an individual and work on themselves, they can overcome all things, all these things that they think that they are.
Amazing.
And which other evil people are trying to confirm that that's who you are because they're evil. There's nothing in life that you cannot overcome, but you got to start working on yourself.
Wow.
And our battle is a spiritual
what a guy.
battle. We're not.
Thank you so much for the 3-month medium gut from H Air. I'm super straight. I was born via C-section. Never touched poon, not once. That's fucking amazing. That's fucking amazing.
Our thoughts We're not our feelings, emotions. We're not our bodies. And we have to overcome the identify with those things. And I promise you, you can be free. You can have perfect peace right here on earth.
Jesse,
Beautiful.
you helped men become straight, right? That's part of one of the projects you've worked on in your long career of philanthropy.
No one can help anyone be anything. Only God can change your life. You can't help me. I can't help you. That's why you have to. That's why you have to lead people. That's why you have to lead people in their hell.
Okay, but you worked with gay men, helping them find the path to straightness.
I work with all kinds of people: hermaphrodites, rapists, murderers.
Wow, that's something. Putting those all in the same category is incredible.
White, black.
Do you think being gay is like being a rapist or a murderer?
I think being that is a false identity, so they're lost in a false identity.
Would you rather be gay or a murderer?
I would rather be either.
But you got to choose.
No, you don't.
Okay.
You have never made a choice.
I tried to get you, Jesse, but you're too slick. You're too slick for me.
Why are you trying to get me? That's not masculine. Why?
That's not masculine. It's so funny.
You're playing a woman's role.
Excuse me, Jesse. War. There's nothing more masculine than war.
You're playing a woman's role in trying to get me. Men are not supposed to play the female game of trying to get. Men lead the way. They don't try to get. That's a woman's role.
Jesse, I'm a man and I'm doing battle. There's nothing more masculine than battle.
Who are you doing battle with?
With you.
Why? I'm not doing battle with you.
Well,
I didn't.
Damn, Jesse just said that he's only at 1% of his power. He just gave him the shaggy do over there on that one.
You don't know that you aren't yet, but we're interlocutors.
And why? I thought we were friends. Why are you doing a battle with me?
We are. I'm.
Why? Why would you be friends with Jesse? I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense to me. Why would I don't know, man. It's just bizarre and rubs me the wrong way with this. And and you might just be like, yeah, this was a long time ago, but the the Jordan Peterson thing. I remember when right before Jordan Peterson went down his fucking crazy, right-wing rabbit hole nonsense brain. Ethan had an opportunity to kind of talk to him and I think de-escalate his brain. And he didn't want to do it because he thought it was so dangerous. Okay, fine. And then now, a couple of years later, you're talking to a literal anti-black conspiracy theorist that is black, that makes white people feel justified in their hatred of black people. That's what he exists to do. And you're like, we're friends. Why? Why would you be? He's not a good person. He's funny because he's stupid. And I get that. And I even said it in the beginning, but it just seems weird that you're his friend. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting too much energy into this or something, but there's something kind of off about it. Maybe Ethan doesn't see him as a threat because he's so dumb. That could be it. I don't know.
I'm a fan of your interviewing style, so I'm trying to exhibit some of your styles back on you.
And then again, are you, or did you just see Tom Segura talk to him and you're like, I want to do this too?
But obviously, ideologically, we are completely unaligned. It's friendly banter. But you called me a woman.
I said that if you're doing battle with me right now, you're playing the woman's game. But
is battle a woman's game?
That kind of battle is.
Oh.
Let me ask, are you a good person?
Oh, why you got to hit me with that? That's such a... Only God can say. That's how you would answer it.
And what do you say?
I say what God says.
What do you say?
What God says.
And what does God say?
I don't know. I'm not arrogant enough to presume what God would say.
And so are you a good person?
I try to be.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
You're not answering.
I said I try to be.
You try to be who?
I don't think Ethan sees him as the same level as Jordan Peterson. Sure. I mean, that's fair. But then at the same time, Jordan Peterson's somebody you could actually have a conversation with and change his mind. At least I felt like you could have at the time that everything had happened. So there would have been something more productive there. I mean, again, I think your best argument's this was back in Ethan's super lefty arc where he was going a little too far to the left and now he's rebounded. But I think it's a reasonable criticism.
What?
Oh, come on, Jesse.
You try to be what?
I try to be a good person.
By doing what?
Good people things.
Like what?
Like tucking my kids in bed at night.
Why do you call that good?
Is it evil?
Why do you call it good?
Dude, he's the best at this. Well, a big part of what you talk about is the man's role.
Why do you call that good?
What? It's the parent's role to stay at home and be present in their children's lives and to show them love and compassion.
And why do you call that good?
You're right. It is evil.
Why do you call it good?
No, you're right. It is evil to kiss your bed. Kiss
I
your
never
kids
said
and
it was evil. I never said it was evil.
Yeah, I think this is like one of the clips. I just googled this just so you guys I could prove it to you. Like, yeah, he had him on. Let me see, when was this? January 20. Yeah, so I guess this was like it was a month ago, less than 3 weeks ago. He had him on the show. I really think that this is the motivation for having him on the show because a comedian did it. So.
But you said it was good, but you won't tell me why you call it good.
I just did.
Why?
Because it's nice to be nice to your kids.
Niceness, does niceness mean good?
Well, I think, well, if we're using words in any way as defined, then yes, nice does mean good.
And how's that?
Oh, come on. Let me ask you a question, Jesse. You're
But
you're filibustering me.
No, I'm not. You never did answer the question of why do you call that good? Does your wife obey you?
My wife and I, we make decisions together, so I wouldn't use the word obey.
I mean, the only thing you really have to say to this is Jesse, you don't have a wife, so you really shouldn't be talking on these matters. It's fine if you want to uphold traditional values, but if you don't live in those values, then you shouldn't be speaking on them because you don't understand the difficulty of upholding the particular value that you're advocating for. That's what you would really say here. Is just like, there's really no, like, I don't take advice. I don't take relationship advice with people. I get from people, and I would recommend you don't either, that aren't in a relationship. So what the fuck would I take your advice about this topic? Like, why would you even humor Jesse's anything? Oh fuck, I forgot.
Does your wife obey you?
If something made me uncomfortable and I expressed that to her, she would probably respect my wishes.
She'd probably respect yours,
depending on what it was. But yeah, she obeys me.
Does your wife obey you?
I just said yes, she does obey me.
Amazing.
So alpha. Oh, Jesse, let me ask you: does your wife obey you?
No.
Beta. Got you again.
Amazing.
Got you again. Let me ask you a question.
I don't have a wife. That's why she doesn't obey you.
That's beta, though.
Beta. No, it's not.
Oh, come now.
No.
Why isn't being a single man beta?
It's very beta.
I said it was.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
When?
Yes, you did. I said, let me ask you another question. There's a paradox with the gay thing that it's kind of maybe obvious to some, but I do like to question people on this. If God made us, did God make us perfect?
Well, I mean, his argument, I already know, it sounds like where he's going to go with this is that, like, why did God make us gay? If, the religious perspective is going to be God gives everybody struggles that they need to overcome. That's what would be the argument there.
God make us, is God perfect? Let's try.
The best argument I think that you can make argue against like God hating gay people is, right? So this is the general frame is, obviously God made us, right? And God made everything on earth for us. So that's the animals, that's this, that's the other thing, the plants, the everything. That's the religious perspective. And, then if you are saying that, well, God made people gay as a test of their faith in some capacity, or, as a trial and tribulation to overcome. And the real question is that why did God make animals gay? Because that makes no sense. If God made animals for us and he made being gay for us a struggle for us to have to overcome, then why would he make animals gay? There's nothing productive about that. It doesn't make any sense because there are gay animals. Like, you could look at the data. So it's like, well, why did God make us animals gay? If this is supposed to be made a test for us, it doesn't make any sense to me.
God is perfect and he made us perfect.
So then why are people gay?
Because they've been turned away from God by turning them away from their earthly father.
Did God create the universe and everything in it?
He did.
So then God is the one steering them away from being straight.
No, Satan is through
Well, God made Satan, and for some reason, why doesn't he just kill him or something?
But he created Satan. He, as all-powerful God, he controls Satan.
Right.
So then he's the one tempting people to be gay. God.
No.
Where was I wrong in the logic?
The whole thing, I just told you, no, it's not from God, it's from evil.
No, but God created evil. God created evil.
Right. Well, God created Satan, and yes, through Satan, evil comes.
So this is part of God's plan, is to turn men gay.
I don't know what you got with this gay thing, but
okay.
Well, this is something you talk, Jesse, you talk a lot about gay
that
people.
Is not, I'm telling you, no. God created us perfectly, and when you return to the Father, you will overcome that old nature that is made of anger, and you will return to your natural nature that's made of good. which is the
what a beautiful thing.
nature of God. But you got to overcome anger. And the way that, for those who might be listening, one or two in your crowd that's listening that want to overcome, I'm talking to them because I know most people love their hell, and they love the hell that they live in, and they love imposing their hell on others.
So speak to them, reach out to them.
But those who want to overcome it, I want them to know is that they have to overcome anger. And when you overcome anger, you must forgive your mother for imposing her will on you, trying to live through you.
Forgive your mom, guys.
Control you, turning you away from your father.
Again, it's so funny because like where the fathers are just not in the households anymore. The fathers are kind of I would say more of a problem than mothers.
And forgive your father for not protecting you. He loved you. He just didn't know how to deal with your mother. And when fathers leave, they don't leave their children. They leave the mother of the children, but the mother makes the children think that the father leave them.
Wow, what a beautiful thing. So, like, I obviously come from a single mother household, and my mom and dad, they were just not for each other, and that's perfectly fine. But my dad never made an effort to be in my life. So it's like, this is just not how these things manifest. You don't have to be a good husband to be a good father. You have parental rights. You can see your kids if you want to see your kids. That is just a fact. And a lot of times they don't want to see their kids. Like, you still can show up. You may not get full custody. You may not, get an equal custody, but you'll get enough to be able to visit like once a week or once every other week. And if you don't take the opportunity to do that, then you're a deadbeat dad. So.
And so for those who want to
Jesse's an absent father, I wouldn't doubt it.
Overcome fear and doubt and loneliness, suicidal thoughts, the gay, lesbian, drug addicts, alcoholics, pot smoking, all these things that the emotional stuff, they can truly overcome that if they forgive their mothers for turning them away from
Jesse,
their fathers.
Would it surprise you if I told you I'm 15% gay?
Okay. What does
Neither
that mean?
it wouldn't surprise me, and neither would I care. That's your problem, not mine.
15%.
That's your problem. Not mine. It's crazy.
Is that better than 100%? Jesse, don't make it seem like I'm bringing it up out of nowhere. You talk about gayness all the time.
I talk about everything all the time.
Well,
my show is about whatever. My radio show is about whatever the people call in for. And the father state, we deal with different issues.
Can you be?
Do you have are you able to move on because of time? Do you have
No, I have all the time in the world, but I understood you only had an hour, right?
Right, and I'm talking about my time.
So how much time do you have left?
And the gay thing is a rare topic on my show.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: you're not gay, right?
That's not your business.
Oh, but
what? What did you just say? No.
You make the gayness a lot of people's business when you discuss.
I make it no one's business. Do you want to act like a man?
Do you live in hell?
Do you want to act?
Do you live in hell?
Man, or do you want to? Hey, look. I put aside my time. I thought you wanted to deal with issues to help folks.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? Because I don't want to play the woman's game with you.
So, well, let me ask you this because
when did this spike? So okay.
Because I know
you have any other topic. One last time, you can talk to your brother-in-law Moses about this, and he'll help you.
Fucking Moses and Trisha.
You deal with that and overcome it.
Jesse, why did you like this? Why did you like this tweet by Your Daddy OnlyFans?
Or forgive your mother.
Wow. Ah, there we go. He's got him at the end. Did he like this tweet? Part 2 collab with. Wow. Did he really like that tweet? Okay. He must have accidentally liked it, guys.
Give your mother.
He's giving a thumbs up.
She will.
Jesse, why did you like this post from Your Daddy OnlyFans? Part 2 with Sean Boy UK.
I have no idea.
It's two men kissing.
Wow. I mean, maybe they just love each other.
No idea.
And they're muscular and very bear-like.
They really think that you're like running your Twitter and stuff. Like,
I have no idea.
Really? Amazing. Wait, why wouldn't you be running your Twitter?
I mean, that makes perfect sense that he wouldn't run his own Twitter. No, does that not make sense? I mean, if he's like a personality, it does kind of make sense that he wouldn't run his own Twitter.
Why did you really think he would? Are you?
Why do you think he is?
What makes you think he is?
Oh, so did you like it? Yeah, did you like it? Are you gay?
I don't know.
Oh, is that the producer on the other end?
I have no idea.
Bro thought he was cooking right
Jesse,
there.
this is important. The people want to know. Your producer got real quiet. What, did he like the gay porn?
Self-report.
It was one of you two. Someone fess up.
They're hanging up.
Someone fess up.
That's what you want me to do? So you can say I ran, but you guys said you wanted to talk about real stuff.
Okay. It took a while to get to this point. I wish you got here sooner.
Real, man.
Jesse,
this is a real tweet that was liked.
Jesse,
I
mean, the question is, why is that even on your feed? I feel like that's kind of weird, no?
The expose by the Daily Beast, they said that several men had sexual.
Oh, maybe that's why the conservatives are pushing so hard for this concept that the porn industry is trying to force us to watch gay and trans porn. Because they have it on their For You pages all the time, and they're just like, it's not my fault. But clearly you want to see it. If you have it on your page, let's be real.
Sexual encounters with you, some as long as 10 years. Is that true?
Say hello to Moses, buddy. I'm out.
All right.
Was your producer?
Oh, he hung up.
Damn.
All right.
Well,
you tried.
That was fun.
Damn.
that was something. That was okay. That was something, I guess. The recap of the interview. I guess we can keep going.
He really hates gay people. Like, really hates gay people.
That's probably because he's gay.
He kind of, I think he got a sniff of what we were doing when I mentioned something about gayness in the top. It's so funny. All of a sudden, he doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like a good 30% of everything he discusses
Yes.
is like gayness, women are evil is another one. So it's so funny. All of a sudden, you don't want to talk about it. He liked that shit. You could tell.
For
sure. Who is he like?
Hey, who wouldn't like that? Am I right? Am I right, guys?
The Rock. He's not managing his Twitter account.
Why was his producer so quick to be like, no, it was me?
Maybe he's
what he said.
Maybe he's gay. Maybe his producer is affirmative action hire.
I mean, it could be. Yeah, affirmative action hire. You're right. Yeah.
I didn't know you were right.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Of course, I love gay people, and I think being gay is something you're born, an identity you're born into, and I think that there's nothing
I still love the clap.
evil or wrong about being gay. I think it's extremely human to be gay, and I think it's
amazing.
I think love is love, no matter how it's expressed, and I think that's really all that matters. But Jesse is someone who is deeply homophobic and hateful towards gay people specifically, and that is why I followed that line of questioning with him.
All right.
So
That was fun though.
I guess Ethan is redeemed, guys.
he didn't run.
Yeah.
Can we just go back to what the Moses thing
That
was all
was
about?
so
Okay, so this is my theory, and I was saying this before the show even. His producer is a fan of YMH, so I thought potentially a fan of ours as well, or at least knows us, or knows
Sure,
of us.
I
Could have seen
guess.
you on YMH, Ethan.
So you think the producer fed him that to try and
Exactly.
throw Ethan off
I
balance?
mean,
Well,
he doesn't know anything about like frenemies drama. There's no way, right?
yeah, no.
Although
What would it matter?
gays do love frenemies.
That's true.
This guy know you gay?
So
There was a
therefore,
big, I'm just saying, you know.
Amazing.
fascinating stuff.
We're
Well,
for the
unfortunately,
gays.
that's probably the only time we'll get him because that didn't end too well, and we were so close to the end. But I
Yeah.
guess
I had a lot.
it was kind of inevitable.
Frankly, I had a lot more questions, but I sensed he was going to bail.
He was losing faith.
I didn't want to get stuck in a topic, so I moved right on. The God paradox thing really tripped him up too. He couldn't. He really lost his way there.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It said, I have more questions now. He
mean,
didn't deny being gay.
He never thought
You
about
asked him
that.
like the most basic philosophy 101, like nature of evil question.
That's
Immediately
what-
broke his worldview.
That's what blows my mind though, because I think it was Ollie who I was doing that with too.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they live in this bubble where like the most basic level of challenging their doctrine is like unthinkable. It's absurd. It's dishonest.
Yeah.
Because everybody
Yeah, because it's the devil, guys. All right.